Good evening, guys. Good evening, guys. It's your bro, Richie Rich here. Tonight, this video is now part 4. Part 4 on the GM LS based small block motor. Tonight, this video, I'll be talking to you about the next version of this LS motor, which this one's my most favorite one. The Gen 5 motor. So this is gonna be pretty cool. Alright. So before I start, make sure you guys all like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think, hit the notification bell, and hit all so you literally don't make brand new uploads. Alright. so without any further ado, let's begin. So the Gen 5 from 2013 and onwards. Here we go. Overviews first, as usual, so let's do it. So manufacturer is obviously by GM. It's also called the Ecotech 3. Production was from 2013 and onwards. The layout's next. Configuration was both a V6. So for layout, configuration was both a V6 and V8, both 90 at an angle of 90 degrees. So both at an angle of 90 degrees. Those configurations. Displacements were the 4.3 liter 262, 5.3 liter 375, 6.1 liter 376, and a 6.5 liter, well, technically 6.6 liter 400. If it was a 6.5, it would be the 396. But oh well. Cylinder bore is next. It was around 99.6 millimeters. So 99.6 millimeters. 3.92 inches only for the V6. And we got 96 millimeters. 3.78 inches. 103.25 millimeters. 4.065 inches. Piston stroke was between 92 to 98 millimeters, 3.622 to 3.858 inches. So it's a 6 millimeter, 0.226 inch difference. So 0.226 inch difference. Reason being is because the piston stroke for the last one was longer because it was only for the L8T, whereas the original one was just shorter. For the cylinder block, well, from engine block, it was made of both aluminum and cast iron. The cast iron was only for the L8T, and for the cylinder heads was aluminum. So both cylinder block and cylinder head, both aluminum, apart from one of them for the block, which was made of cast iron. That's for the L8T only. Says cylinder block, aluminum and cast iron for the L8T only. Says cylinder block, aluminum, and for the L8T only, cast iron. Cylinder heads, aluminum, valve train, OHV, 2 valve for cylinder, so overhead valve. Compression ratios were 10 to 1, 11 to 1, and 11.5 to 1. Next is combustion. For the supercharger, we have an E10 TBS supercharger for both the LT4 and LT5 motors. Fuel type, well, fuel system was directed. Excuse me. Fuel system was direct injection. Fuel type gasoline and E85. Oil system wet sump. Cooling system water cooled. And chronology's next. Chronology's next predecessor. So chronology's next predecessor. So chronology's next predecessor was the Gen 4. Alright, moving on for the Gen 5. 2013 and onwards. I did this last time, but I'll just wait for the next day because it's just gonna take forever. Alright, in 2007, wardsauto.com. I'll put a link in the description below. So wardsauto.com. I'm not sure if there's a link. I don't think there is. The way it says, but go on it. It doesn't show. Well, I'll put it just in case if there's gonna be one. I don't know. Anyways, in 2007, the year the first Transformers movie came out, I can't talk. Ugh. Wardsauto.com. So wardsauto.com reported that the LS3. So wardsauto.com reported that the LS3 used in the '08 Corvette. So used in the '08 Corvette and Vortec 6000 LFA used in the '08 Tahoe Hybrid, because that version had like a little electric motor to it. Motors would be the final two designs in the Gen 5 small block motor family, and the future designs would be part of the Gen 5 motor family. An experimental motors built based so an experimental motors built based on the L92 from the Cadillac Escalade, GMC Yukon Denali, and Hummer H2, and reported to generate 450 horsepower. Pretty good. On gasoline via DFI, direct fuel injection, instead of diesel, EFI, electronic fuel injection. This is that increased compression increased compression ratio to 11.5 to 1, and a modified engine controller. The first Gen 5 LT motors, uh, so the first Gen 5 LT motor was the the first Gen 5 LT motor was the LT1, announced in 2012. In excuse me, excuse me for that. Announced in 2012 as the initial power plant for the redesigned Corvette C7, which wasn't introduced until 2 years later in 2014. Succeeding the LS motor family, the new logo formally adopts the small block name for the motors. The Gen 5 of the iconic GM small block motor family features the same cam and block architecture and 4.4-inch bore centers. This is between the centers of each cylinder that were born with the original small block in 1954. Structurally, the Gen 5 small blocks similar to the Gen 3 4 motors, including a deep skirt cylinder block, refinements and new or revised components are used throughout, including a revised cooling system and all new cylinder heads. Because the positions of the because the position because the blech. Because the positions of both the intake oh yeah. Because the positions of both the intake and exhaust valves intake and exhaust valves are flipped from where they would be in an LS motor, as well as the need for as well as the need for as well as the need for an as well as the need for an addition to the camshaft to drive the high pressure fuel pump for the DFI. Few parts are interchangeable with both the Gen 3 and 4 motors. All Gen 5 motors use aluminum motor blocks, so aluminum blocks with aluminum cylinder heads, and include direct injection, piston cooling, so direct injection, piston cooling jet, so direct injection, piston cooling jet. Excuse me. So direct injection, piston cooling jets, active, so AFM, active fuel management. So first was PCJ, piston cooling jets, AFM, active fuel management. Um, VDLP, variable displacement oil pump, and CVVT, so continuously variable valve timing. The L8, the L8T is an exception, apparently. However, they all retain their ancestors' two valve, two valve push rod, two valve push rod valve train, and 4.4 inch, almost 4.5 inch bore spacing. Next is the 4.065 inch bore blocks from 2014 and onwards. This family of blocks this family of blocks was the first of the Gen 5 small block, with the LT1 being the progenitor or progenitor, PROGENITOR, can't pronounce it, of both this family and generation. This family of blocks this family of blocks has seen a wide range of applications, from performance cars to truck usage. Starting off with the first one is the mighty is the well-known 6.2 liter V8 motor. Starting off with the first one is the LT1. The 6.2 liter LT1 debuted in the 2014 Corvette Stingray. So 2014 Corvette Stingray, as is the first Gen 5 small as is the first Gen 5 small block motor. Like its predecessor, the LS3, it gets it gets its displacement from a bore stroke of 103.25 by 92 millimeters, 4.065 by 3.622, so 4.065 by 3.622 inches, with a compression with a compression ratio of 11.5 to 1. So the cars that had this kind of motor were the three of these cars: the 2014-19 Corvette C7 at 6,000 RPM, between 455 to 460 horsepower. And so the power is at 6,000 RPM. And for torque, it's between so at 4,600 RPM, between 460 to 465 pound-feet, 624 to 630 newton meters. And with the C7 Corvette, it makes the same RPM for both the power and torque. The only difference is that they have different power and torque configurations. Reason being is because the slightly more powerful one has the performance exhaust to it, whereas one with the least amount of power doesn't. It's just gonna standard exhaust. All right, next is a 2016 to 2024. So 2016, we got a couple Camaros this time. We got the 2016 to 2024 SS and the 2024 Camaro LT1 both make the same power and torque. Power 6,000 RPM, and for torque 4,400 RPM. They make both make 455 horsepower and 455 horsepower and 455 pound-feet, 617 newton meters of torque. Next is the LT2. The LT2 debuted in the 2020 Corvette Stingray as the successor to the LT1. It's designed specifically with both a mid-engine with both a mid-engine placement and a dry sump lubrication in mind. So the years of 2020 onwards, it was a Corvette C8, 6,450 RPMs. It makes between 490 to 495 horsepower, and at 5,150 RPMs, between 465 470 pound-feet, 637 newton meters of torque. Reason being, again, like with the Camaro, there was a little bit of extra power and torque came from the performance exhaust. Next is the L86 L87. The 6.2 liter Ecotec 3s, a Gen 5 small block V8 truck motor, VIN code was J. The L86 is an LT the L86 is an LT1 modified for truck use. It's like pickup trucks and whatnot, with a compression ratio of 11.5 to 1. What the airflow ratio would be for like modified turbo cars and whatnot. So with a compression ratio of 11.5 to 1. In 2019, GM introduced the LT not LT. In 2019, GM introduced the L87 as the successor to the L. In 2019, GM introduced the L80. In 2019, GM introduced the L87 as the successor to the L86. Power and torque remain the same, but whereas the L86's AFM alternates between V4 and V8 modes, so it can shut down 50% of the bank of its cylinders to make it more economical. But whereas the L86's AFM alternates between V4, so alternates between inline 4, so V4 and V8 modes, the L87's DFM, so dynamic fuel management, can alternate between any of the 17 different firing orders. So any of the 17 different firing orders, which vary excuse me, which vary both how many and which cylinders are actually firing based on demand, calculated every 125 milliseconds. The next one we got is the 2014 and onwards Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra, and Chevy Tahoe and GMC Yukon. And the 2015 and onwards. So for applications, the next ones we got. So what we got is both the 2014 and onwards Chevy Silverado slash GMC Sierra, and 2015 and onwards Chevy Tahoe slash GMC Yukon, Chevy Suburban slash Chevy Suburban slash GMC Yukon XL, and GMC Yukon XL, and Cadillac Escalade slash Escalade ESV. So got power and torque. So power 5,600 RPM and torque 4,100 RPM. All make 420 horsepower. All make the same exact power power and torque output levels: 420 horsepower and 460 460 pound-feet, 460 pound-feet, 624 newton meters of torque. Next is the mighty LT4, the six the six point the 6.2 liter LT4. The 6.2 liter LT4 the 6.2 liter LT4 builds on the design strengths of the previous LS9 or the previous supercharged LS9 of the previous LS9 supercharged V8 used in the Gen 6. So the 6.2 liter LT4 built on the design strengths of the previous LS9 supercharged motor used in the Gen 6 Corvette Gen 6 Corvette 01. So used in the Gen 6 Corvette 01 and leverages the technologies introduced on the Gen 7 Corvette Stingray, including direct injection, cylinder deactivation, and continuously VVT to take Corvette performance to an all new level. The LT4 is based on the same same Gen 5 small block foundation as the Corvette Stingray's LT1 naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8 motor, incorporating several unique features designed to support both its higher output and the greater cylinder pressures. So the greater cylinder pressures created by forced induction, including rotocast A35 6 so A35 so rotocast A35 6T6 aluminum cylinder heads that are stronger and handle heat better than conventional uh, aluminum heads. So aluminum headers, lightweight titanium intake valves. So lightweight titanium intake valves. There's a lot of them. So lightweight titanium intake valves, forged powder, metal, steel con rods, well short for connecting rods to make it easier. 10 to 1 compression ratio, enhanced performance and efficiency enabled by direct injection, forged aluminum pistons, forged aluminum pistons, uh, with unique stronger structure to ensure strength under high cylinder pressures. So under high cylinder pressures, stainless steel exhaust manifolds for structure at high temperatures, aluminum balancer, aluminum balancer for reduced mass, and it, so aluminum balancer for reduced mass, and a standard dry sump oiling and a standard dry sump oiling system. So standard dry sump oiling system with a dual pressure control oil pump. The motor uses a 1.7 liter E10 TVS supercharger. Although smaller than the previous 2.3 liter supercharger used on the Gen 6 01, was a little bit lighter. It was a little bit lighter supercharger. So used on the Gen 6 01, it spins to 5,000 RPMs faster, thus generating boost quicker, so boost a lot faster, while making only slightly less boost, slightly less total boost than the LS9. The Escalade V variant uses a 2.7 liter Eaton TBS, so 2.7 liter Eaton, 2.7 liter Eaton TBS supercharger. This motor is also used by Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus, Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus for their um, SCG 004S. The limited production Isorevolta GTZ, which is based on the C706, also uses the LT4. Now I got 5 cars. Like this car, the Revolta GTZ. That looks interesting. So yeah, the limited production ISO Revolta GTZ, which is based on the C706, also uses the LT4. So we got a couple of cars that use this motor.